All right. Hey, everybody. Dr. Sean Talbot here. Thanks for joining me for this seminar about resilience from the inside out. I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible because I want to get right to the good stuff. This is all about the retreat that we're offering here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's a resilience retreat from the inside out, microbiome, gut, heart, brain retreat for everyday excellence. And I'll tell you more about everyday excellence as we go through here. There's lots of ways to kind of describe this. So before we get into it, who's doing this retreat, right? This is a retreat that I'm holding. We hold this retreat a couple times a year. People really, really love it. It's very intimate. It's a small group. We have a lot of interaction together. There's a ton of stuff that you learn, but it's important for you to understand where it's coming from. So this is my background, right? I'm a psychonutritionist. I am a nutritionist, PhD in nutritional biochemistry, that studies the biochemical impact of food and nutrients and also, lifestyle factors like movement and sleep and stress management and all that kind of stuff, right? So all of that kind of stuff that we do to make ourselves healthier has a biochemical effect in the body. It changes our stress hormones like cortisol. It changes our neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine and GABA. It changes our inflammatory markers, these things that we call cytokines. And all of that biochemical change has an impact on how we feel, how we perform, how we show up in a given situation, right? So the reason that on this little bullet point list that I highlighted nutritional biochemistry is because all of this comes back to biochemistry. You'll hear me say, and you'll see somewhere in this presentation, I say a lot of times, biochemistry drives behavior. So a lot of what you're going to learn in this retreat, and we'd love to have you at this retreat, is how we're changing our biochemistry for good or bad. And once we understand that, then we have the knowledge, we have the ability to use precision guided effects to help ourselves feel better and perform better. Okay, so there's all the background about me. We're holding this retreat is at Three Waves Wellness, Three Waves Bed and Breakfast. We were recently named a startup star for 2026, basically startup of the year, because of all the cool stuff that we've been doing. We've been holding these mental fitness retreats for about 5 years now. People really, really like them. We've been training people as certified mental wellness coaches. We've trained about 1,000 coaches around the country. We have an online mental fitness community where people come and interact and things like that. We've developed a line of science-based nutraceuticals. We have an affiliate program so that people can use the products themselves and also share them with other people. And so we are the holistic mental fitness company, and we're all of these things that you see on the screen can help improve your mental fitness in one way or another. And for some people, it's going to be taking a supplement. For other people, it's going to be getting a certification and getting a deep dive into the science around mental fitness. For other people, it's going to be coming to a retreat and not just, getting information at the retreat, but learning at the retreat, practicing at the retreat so that you can take that information and those practices home with you and continue to get better and better and better. I'm also really proud of this. We just launched this just a couple of weeks ago. This is a new app called the ACC, Adaptive Capacity Coach. This is like having me in your pocket. It is tons of content, but it's also AI driven. So the app learns you. It learns what your goals are. So one person, their goal might be to reduce their stress. Another person, it might be to increase their energy. Another person, it might be to eat better. All of the information that I've curated over the last 30 or so years is in this app, and the app will learn you and will help customize a program that is geared towards you. So if you can't make it to our retreat, then definitely check out the app. You can find it here at studio.com/Sean Talbot. It really is a marvel of technology. I was a little skeptical as we were developing it, but it really does a nice job of figuring out who you are, what you need, when you need it, and stepping you through really a customized, curated, personalized program to help you improve your adaptive capacity. So let's talk about that for a second. In my world, we will sometimes talk about everyday excellence. Sometimes we'll talk about flourishing. Sometimes we'll talk about vigor. Sometimes we'll talk about resilience. Sometimes we'll talk about adaptive capacity. These are all different ways that we describe helping people not just feel better, but handle stress better, perform better under stress, absorb a stress and then come back stronger. Those are all different ways that we describe pretty much the same thing. So adaptive capacity, everyday excellence, flourishing, vigor, resilience are all sort of in the same basket of benefits. And so you can decide what sort of level of interaction you want to have. Some of the interaction is free. I publish a lot of content for people who just want to get some more information. So here's some free ebooks that you can get if you go to my website, doctalbot.com. One about modern performance remedies, things like nootropics and adaptogens and psychobiotics. People are very interested in peptides these days. There's a lot of hype out there about peptides. This particular book helps sort of navigate the way through about what peptides might do and what peptides are kind of BS about. So check that out if that's something that you're interested in. So I really try to help people at whatever level they're prepared to interact with me about. So there's a lot of free stuff. There's some low cost stuff. There's some high cost stuff, depending on what level of interaction that you want. Okay, so please feel free to check out all of those. So I want to tell you about this really cool retreat we have planned. So it's called Resilience from the Inside Out, a microbiome-gut-brain retreat for everyday excellence. It's September 17th through the 20th here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, coastal Massachusetts. And middle of September is a beautiful time to be here. Most of the tourists have gone home. They're not here for the summer anymore, so the beaches are open, the parking is open, the restaurants are easier to get a reservation at. But this retreat, it's not your typical spa weekend, right? Where you come with your girlfriends and you bring a yoga mat and you drink green smoothies, right? We're going to have all that kind of stuff. But this really is a science-based retreat. You're going to learn here. We're going to have classes every day. We're going to have discussions. We're going to have personalization about what your individual challenges are and what we can do from a lifestyle perspective to help you make progress towards whatever those goals are. Science-based retreat designed to help people improve resilience, emotional regulation, sleep, energy, and mental fitness by working on the systems that drive them from the inside out. You may or may not remember Cyndi Lauper from the 80s. She was huge in the 80s, trust me. Some of you watching might not have even been alive in the 80s, but anyway, she had a very popular song called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I'm not against fun, but I am a proponent of fun with knowledge or fun knowledge or fun education. So girls just want to have funding for scientific research. I want people to understand why we're making the health recommendations that we're making. Like, why am I recommending this particular supplement to you? Why am I recommending this particular way of eating? Why am I recommending nature therapy? Why am I recommending a particular aspect of sleep hygiene, right? I want you to understand the underlying biochemistry, the underlying scientific reason for all of this. So we're going to have a 3-day immersive retreat to reset stress, sleep, mood, and resilience. We're going to focus on science-based strategies, so things that work, not just things that are, trendy and hypey, right? That you'll try for a couple of days and they don't work, and you'll lily pad over to the next thing. And it's not just about nutrition either, right? It's movement, recovery, nature, food, practical resilience coaching, and but all with that scientific basis. So this is what we do at Three Waves Wellness, right? We do all the spa stuff, we do all the retreat stuff. We have good food, we have opportunities for movement. You're going to see what we're going to be doing each day. We have opportunities for your body to recover and your mind to recover, and your chances for you to reset your nervous system, to connect with other people. That's the whole idea, that you come to a retreat versus just watch a video like you're doing right now. But it's all based in science. It's based on the science of the microbiome, the bacteria in your gut. It's based around the gut-brain axis and the heart-brain axis. It's principles from neuroscience and physiology and nutritional biochemistry. But it's all grounded in things that you can actually do. So I love the science, but I love even more the practical application of that science into something that you can do that will actually deliver demonstrable benefits in your life. You will feel better. You will perform better. You will think more clearly. You will sleep more soundly. You will get all of those benefits because we're following the scientific basis of the gut, heart, brain axis. And those are the kinds of things that you're gonna be immersed in for a full 3 days. It's based on this scientific concept called adaptive capacity. And I'm not going to go into this at all. If you want to learn more about the science of this, you can go to my website, doctalbot.com. You can go to my YouTube channel, drshawntalbot.com, and you can do a deep dive, right? I just, a couple of weeks ago, did a hour and a half presentation about this concept of adaptive capacity. So you can go there and you can get the nitty-gritty details if you want to. But suffice to say, it's this idea of biochemistry drives behavior. It's this idea that we need resilience from the inside out. If any of you remember these movies that came out a couple of years ago from Pixar, the first one was called Inside Out. The second one was called Inside Out 2. It was this idea that all these emotions that we experience are coming from inside, right? They're coming from our brain and our body, and that's the important piece of it. I study a lot of the body piece, right? That's what the heart brain axis and the gut brain axis and the microbiome brain axis and the immune system brain axis are all about. These signals that are in our body can determine in large part how we feel in our brain. And those are the kinds of things that we're going to cover in this retreat. So there's so many people who feel tired and wired, and their mood is not where they want it to be, and their energy levels and their motivation isn't where they want to be. They just feel kind of blah or worn out or old or just not the way that they want to feel or the way that they used to feel. And this is about getting people to solve all of these problems. And they're all connected, which is why we can solve them all in a retreat setting. Stress, poor sleep, low mood, low motivation, brain fog are often rooted in biochemistry and physiology. It's that idea of biochemistry drives behavior. And if we can rebalance that biochemistry, all of this resolves. All of this goes in a better direction. So you're more stress resilient. Not only do you feel less stressed, but you can handle stress better. Your sleep quality improves. Your mood elevates. You feel happier. Your motivation comes back. So you feel not just motivation, but you feel energetic. Your brain fog goes away. I joke about this all the time, that a lot of people don't even know that they have brain fog until it goes away and they start seeing the world in Technicolor, whereas previously they were seeing the world in black and white. So that kind of thing happens all the time. And it sounds, let me acknowledge the fact that your bullshit detector might be going off a little bit right now. And it should be, because if somebody came to you and said, I can solve all of these problems with one fix, you should be a little bit skeptical. But the science of the gut-brain axis and all the other axes that I just talked about tell us that if there's static in this system, you're not going to feel the way that you want to feel. And that's why people develop these sort of conglomerations of symptoms, right? Where your energy is low and your focus is bad, and your motivation is suppressed, and your mood is lower than you want it to be, and you're, because they're all connected to each other. And if you can rebalance that biochemistry, get the signals going across your gut-brain axis in a more efficient manner, then your energy improves and your focus improves and your mood improves and your ability to sleep at night improves. And that creates this vicious or virtuous cycle where you get better and better and better. Whereas where you are right now, you've probably been on this slippery slope of getting a little bit worse and worse and worse. Again, because that's because the biochemistry is all connected. So what we do is we rebalance the signaling across this entire microbiome gut-brain axis so that you see improvements in all the things that you see here. Okay, it's about resetting that whole system. We treat this whole body mind connection as a full system reset, and you will notice the benefits. Okay, so the gut is particularly focused on a couple of things. The heart, your third brain, is focused on a couple of things, and your head is focused on a couple of things. So all of these improve if we improve one of those brains. I'm not going to deep dive into the whole gut-brain axis right now, but each one of those brains, so to speak, your head brain, your heart brain, your gut brain, shines in a particular way. And so if we can get each of those to communicate with the other brain across what we call the axis, right? So when we say gut-brain axis, heart-brain axis, the axis is that communication network, and it's your immune system and your nervous system and your circulatory system and your inflammatory cascade and all of that. That's what I mean when I say we take a systems approach, that we're not just focusing on your mindset. That's one piece of what we'll do, but we'll also focus on the food that we're delivering to your gut. We'll focus on your physical activity, what you're delivering through movement to your cardiovascular system and your heart. We're going to talk about the thoughts, like your thought diet. What are you exposing your brain to? What are you exposing yourself to in terms of your environment? And a lot of what we do here is, being outside in nature and being on the ocean and things like that. So it's all about getting all of this into alignment. And when you can align the gut, the heart, and the head, you feel more resilient, you feel more focused, you feel more energized. This is the concept of neurobiotics, right? It's not just about feeling better, right? That was something that 10 years ago was a revelation. And now, you fast forward 10 years into the future, we can actually do more than just help people feel better. So 10 years ago, I used to say to my students, we can help people feel less bad. We can turn down a dial of badness so somebody feels less depressed and less anxious and less irritable and less tense and that kind of stuff. And that's good, right? If you're feeling less bad, that's a good thing. Nowadays, though, we can also turn up the good feelings. So we can help somebody feel more happy and more motivated and more focused and more ability to be, have equanimity, right? Calmness and resilience in the face of stress so they can perform when they're under pressure. And so nowadays, this neurobiotic concept is that, yes, we can help you feel better, but we can also help you perform better. And it goes through, each of these different pillars, which I'm not going to go through right now, but some of what we're going to talk about are specialized probiotics, psychobiotics, which are biotics that help with psychological impact, nootropics, which are things that are brain boosters, adaptogens, which are things that help you adapt to stress, and then other kinds of natural modalities that can help improve energy levels and metabolism and motivation and blood sugar control and fat burning and all that kind of stuff. So that's this neurobiotic concept. And some of it comes from nutraceuticals, some of it comes from baseline diet, some of it comes from our exposure to our environment, but we're going to cover all of that kind of stuff. And here's how we're going to do it. It's a 3-day, 3 days, 2 full days and 2 half days, that starts September 17th. So September 17th is a Thursday. This is arrival day. People will arrive throughout the day. Some people will get, there, little afternoon. Some people get there right before dinner. So it's a very, casual, low stress, sort of get to know each other kind of a day. We'll have a welcome dinner. So, because people are going to be arriving at different times and checking into their rooms at different times, we'll have Mediterranean bowls. We'll have some charcuteries. We'll have some cocktails if that's your thing. And we start the day or we start the evening with a sound bath, which is one of the funnest things that we do here, where we're going to do a sound bath and a cacao ceremony. So it's amazing. Everybody lies down. You lie down on a mat. We have some good friends that do the sound bath for us. They have a bunch of sound modalities from all over the world. So we're going to have gongs and singing bowls and drums and thunder sticks and all kinds of different things. It's a really emotional experience, and it's a great way to kick off the rest of the weekend. That night, we're going to have a fireside meet and greet. We'll all get to know each other a little bit. Every night, we're actually going to have a fireside session, which is going to be an opportunity for us to chat with each other and talk and learn and just connect with each other. And we're going to have an evening discussion about sleep, how sleep is such a foundational thing for not just our mental fitness, but our overall aspects of resilience and metabolism and things like that. Why we become tired and wired, how sleep drives mood, craving, stress, and recovery. So every day is going to be an aspect of learning, connecting, doing, and really practicing and integrating all of this great information into our lives. Friday is one of our main days, September 18th. Start with a healthy breakfast. All your food is covered in this retreat. All chef prepared meals. So after healthy breakfast, we're gonna do a Pilates. We're gonna have a creative intention setting, like a little bit of artwork too, which is gonna be a little bit fun. We'll have a lunch and learn around the gut-heart-brain axis, how biochemistry drives behavior. We're gonna have some activities out in nature, and this is a sort of we'll make the call based on the weather. Are we going to the beach? Are we gonna do an ocean plunge? Are we going on paddle boards, e-bikes? What are we gonna do? But it's gonna be something out in nature, whether it's the beach or the forest or something like that. We're going to have time for a nervous system reset. So here at Three Waves, we have infrared saunas. We've got proprioception float tanks. We've got hot plunges, like hot tub. We've got cold plunges. We've got red light therapy walls. We've got infrared. We've got virtual reality headsets. We've got all kinds of really, really cool wellness modalities, and you're going to learn about each one. You're going to get to play with each one. You're going to have access to them throughout the whole weekend. We're going to have dinner at a local seafood restaurant, and we're going to have a fireside discussion and Q&A. And sometimes these personal Q&A sessions are not just good for you as an individual, but they're good for everybody collectively, because we actually, people will learn from me, but we'll also learn from each other. Okay, on Saturday, September 19th, another healthy breakfast. We're going to have a morning masterclass about the thought diet, how your attention shapes biology. We're going to talk about stress appraisal, emotional regulation, awe, gratitude, meaning, and connection as resilience tools. So, mindset kind of stuff we're going to talk about. Then we're going to go on a whale watch. This is about a 4-hour experience. We're going to go out into the ocean. We're gonna see these great humpback whales. We're going to experience awe. We're going to experience the ocean. We're going to experience the atmosphere. When we get back from that, we'll have some free time. We'll have reflection time. You can go shopping in downtown Plymouth if you want to. We'll have dinner back here at Three Waves, and then we'll have another fireside Q&A discussion. And then Sunday is really about reflecting on what did we learn over the last couple of days. What is your action plan going to be when you go back to your regular life? One of the things that I've done programs at other retreat centers all around the world. And what I love about it is that people come there and they get excited, right? They get excited to, go on the hike, or they get excited to, take the cooking class, or they get excited to come, learn a class with me. But then when they leave, they go back to their life and everything falls apart again, right? They don't bring that spa experience or that retreat experience home with them. And that's what we're going to do on Sunday morning is build your personal resilience plan. What are you going to do when you go back to your regular life about nutrition and movement and mindset and sleep? What are you going to take home with you? What are you going to change first, right? You don't have to change your whole life when you go back to your regular life, but you might want to change different aspects of it or start leaning into places where you might have had some weaknesses that you can, that you can improve. We're going to develop a practical plan for everybody, not just inspiration. Inspiration's great, but if you get excited while you're at the retreat and then it all sort of peters away when you get home, that didn't really help anything, right? And you're also going to get a great goodie bag. So this goodie bag has a value of $318. You're going to get a bottle of Zenith, which is our neurobiotic for your gut-brain axis. Zephyr is our neurobiotic for sleep, and that isn't launched yet, but so you'll be one of the very first to get your hands on that. You get a bag of stress chocolates. You'll get a 3 Waves water bottle. You'll get a signed copy of my mental fitness book, and you'll definitely get an ebook version of my latest book, Wild Medicine. This doesn't come out until January of 2027. And so I'm working with the publisher to see if I can get everybody at this retreat a physical copy of it. This is what's called an advanced reader copy. So it's the almost final version. We might find a couple of typos or a couple of formatting errors in this before it actually goes to the printer. So if I can get you physical copies, I'll get physical copies, but you'll at least get an e-copy of Wild Medicine. So that's a lot of really cool stuff on top of everything else that you're getting in terms of the education and the experiences and the connections and the knowledge and the practical know-how and all that kind of stuff. So this little piece down here that you probably can't read, I blew up for you. So the whole idea of this retreat is that we're going to support your gut, improve your sleep, reduce your stress, boost mood and focus, help you with hydration, reclaim your vitality, right? We're going to do all of that plus more in this retreat. And here's what the whole retreat looks like. This is our beach. This is Long Beach, where we're going to be doing some walks along the way. Sound bath experience, yoga, Pilates, and movement, healthy chef-prepared vegan meals, and the recipes. People always ask us for the recipes at one of these retreats, so we'll have those prepared for you. Ocean and nature therapy, whale watching, all of our wellness modalities, sauna, cold plunge, red light, float, proprioception, fireside discussions and Q&A, mental fitness coaching sessions, adaptive capacity planning workshops. So you'll leave here not just energized, not just inspired, but you'll leave here with a plan of what you're going to do when you get back to your life. So join us. This is where we're going to be right here. It's right next to the ocean. You're going to smell the salt air every day. And the tuition for the retreat is $1,500, which is a really, really good deal for everything that you're getting. All the meals, all the experiences, everything's going to be covered for you while you're here. We try to make it as affordable as possible, so it really is within reach to a wide swath of people. If you book this month in July, you save a lot of money. You can get it for only $9.99, right? That is a great deal. August 1st, it goes up to the normal price of $1,500. The extra cost is your room. What room are you going to choose? We've got 7 rooms here. Some are queens, some are kings, some are suites. It really is dependent on what you want to do. You could come with a friend, you could come with a spouse, you could come by yourself, you could do whatever you want. So that's the only caveat is what room are you going to choose? Are you going to choose an ocean view, a garden view? Do you want a bigger room? Do you want a smaller room? Do you want to share a room? Do you want to not? So there's all those different options. But we only have 7 guest rooms, so this is a small group. It's high touch. It's immersive experience. You were not just going to get lost in a group of hundreds of people coming to a retreat. This is a very intimate gathering. So if you're interested, email me if you want to know anything more about the content. Email Julie if you're interested in discussing, what room and, how many people can fit in the room, and when can you check in, or if you want to extend your stay, or any of that kind of stuff. You can check out our rooms at threewavesbnb.com, so you can see what colors they are and how big they are, and they all have ensuite baths and all that kind of stuff. So we would really love to host you here. If you want to learn anything more about the kind of work that we do, either at Three Waves B&B or with our nutrition products at Three Waves Wellness, or about any of the educational content that I do at doctalbot.com, or any of the educational videos that I do on my YouTube channel, here is all the places that you can find information about what we do and how we do it and how you can get involved. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end the slideshow, and I will see you guys later. And I hope to see you here at our retreat. Take care.